Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
It's one mic. It's one mic.
Give me a moment, would you, friend? I've never been on trial for my thoughts before.
Welcome to the Only One Mic podcast. I'm your host, Carl Gerard. And tonight I'm joined by author, athlete, mentor, teacher. You have like a lot of titles. Chancellor K.Jackson. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man. Blessings and balance to you. Blessings and balance to everyone tuning in right now. I cannot complain. Every day's a great day. The choice is yours. That's how I like to look at things.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, Chance, got you on the show.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Listen,
sir.
Your book, 14 Days in Beijing. I mean, that's pretty much self-explanatory, man. That's an adventure and a half, brother. Like 14 days in. So, just to let y'all know, it's on Amazon, burning it up on Amazon. A lot of good reviews, reviews, A lot of people, I was reading some of the reviews were saying like the way that you was painting the picture of being locked up. Like, so you had it to the point where some people were saying, man, I want to go visit China. You're saying that, and it's like you want to go visit China, but like, yo, he's locked up, though.
Yeah.
So that's a mean picture that you painting. So listen, man, you're Smyrna, Georgia native, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Play football, collegiate, and high school.
Yes, sir.
Collegiate. Okay. What position did you play?
DB.
Yeah.
All day.
Okay.
True DB. Corner, strong safety, free safety, nickel corner. I don't play it all for sure.
Most importantly, man, what school? What school?
Campbell High School in Smyrna, and then Stetson University. There's my jersey hanging up back there.
I see that.
Down in DeLand, Florida.
DeLand, Florida? Okay. If y'all don't, of course y'all don't see it, but he got the number 9 hanging up there. Looking nice and crispy, framed up and everything, brother.
Oh, man.
Okay, now you got a bachelor's degree in communication and media studies. All
yep.
Right. And you lived abroad in Beijing, China for a year, 2018 to 2019. All right. Now, I want you to walk me, because your story is your story to tell. You know what I mean? I can give you the highlights and all that good stuff, but nobody's going to tell it like you, brother. So what I need you to do is tell us, how did you get to China? That's number one. You know what I mean? The opportunity that led you there. And then we're going to go into the other stuff. We're going to go straight to the other stuff. So go ahead and talk to the people, man. Let them know what got you. I'm taking it you coming from straight from college. So you was in Florida, right? And going over to Beijing, China. Yeah.
So my football career ended in November 2017. 2017. All right. Soon as, the football season's over with, I knew the NFL wasn't going to be in the picture. It wasn't even nothing I really had aspirations to do at that point. So I'm like, all right, time to enter the real world. And, now it's just really, it's a whole shift within my paradigm or within my journey right now, just because football, what I've done for so long, is now at an end.
Was it an injury that ended it, or was it?
Oh, no. It was just like, hey, just did all my years of eligibility in college. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of adversity I faced just with politics and, all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, did I really want to put forth the effort to, try to shoot for the league? And I'm like, nah, not really. Not really. I'd rather put that energy and efforts towards something else. Right. And really just because football comes to an end for everybody eventually, at some point in time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's time to get towards the real journey. You know what I'm saying? Football was just a dream that I was chasing, but was it the purpose that I was supposed to be fulfilling? Nah. So
did you have like a plan? Like a plan B?
No.
No. That's the important part.
I ain't had no plan. I'm just like, shit, I'm going to find something.
Right.
I'm going to find something. I'll go to this prestigious school. I'm going to find something. So I started applying for jobs immediately after the football season was done. I'm landing interviews, getting flown out, all different types of extravagant things. I did this for 8 months straight and kept getting told no.
Was it the black experience, brother? Was it just the black experience, brother?
And I was mainly applying for corporate positions, sales, marketing, management. You know what I'm saying? Kept getting told no. They kept giving me the same BS reason. Oh, you like the experience, but it's like y'all knew that when I sent my resume to y'all. Yeah, that's evident.
Right.
And y'all still call me in for an interview. And I do the interview. I know I killed the interview, but here y'all go talking about the experience. So it's just like, for sure, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just had to I had to do some self-reflecting. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because now I done graduated. I'm back home in Atlanta in Georgia now. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm driving Uber and shit. I ain't got nothing against Uber drivers. You know what I'm saying? You make your bread. But it's like, bro, I ain't go to 4 years of school to goddamn be driving Uber.
No, not all the money you spending on student loans or whatever. Yeah.
No,
Uber's not going to cover that. It's not going to cover that.
I'm like, okay, so I gotta figure something out. I gotta reapproach this job searching thing, because clearly the field that I'm trying to go in isn't for you, bro. Like, it isn't for you, Chance. So we gotta reapproach this thing. So I had to just, okay, what are you good at? Okay, you good at talking to people, working with people. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with people in some form of fashion. So that's when I was looking into just social work in any, you know what I'm saying, any form of fashion. And I was job searching on LinkedIn one day, and as I was going through the filters, I seen a button for international. I'm like, why haven't I thought to look outside of America for a job? Well, opportunities. Right. So I said, let me see the rest of the world talking about, since America ain't fucking with me. I'm going through the list, and that's what I seen. Teach English abroad in China. I said, that shit sounds interesting.
And it's funny because I guess
read the job description.
A lot of people don't think like that. You know what I mean? To say that if the opportunity is not here, you know, we programmed to just leave the state that we in. So if, like you just said, look, man, the opportunities are better, just say in Georgia, which you see most people fleeing to your home. You know what I mean? Fleeing to your home state. So we're just prone to just leave the state, but nobody thinks about leaving the country. You know what I mean? So, I mean, especially our people, man, we don't really leave the country like that. I guess bad experiences with leaving countries, you know? So, yeah. So how did that work out for you though, man?
So I'm looking at the job description. I'm like, okay, yeah, I could do this. That's how I was applying for jobs anyway, because I knew I lacked experience with pretty much anything. Right. But I know my work ethic, I know my spirit, I know I'm a fast learner. Man, just show me the ropes. Let me get a few reps at it. Oh yeah, I'll take off running with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how I was applying for any job. So once I read the description, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do this. I've always been a leader, you know what I'm saying, with football, and you know what I'm saying, I was a resident assistant in college. You know what I'm saying? I always had authoritative positions, and played an authoritative, not authoritative role, but definitely just a role where people take heed to what I got to say. Yeah, and listen to definitely follow. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, teacher, that's not too far off. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, guys, I'm like, I can do this. Look at what's the requirements. You had a bachelor's degree. It don't matter what your degree is in, as long as you got one. Clean background. Native English speaker. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
That's it.
How do I apply? Submit a resume. Oh, y'all making this too easy. Y'all making this too easy.
Right.
Applied. 2 weeks passed. I do the interview, and they was like, yeah, we want to move forward with you as a candidate. I'm just like, man, first job to tell me yes. Yeah. On the other side of the world. After all this time getting told no, all these interviews, energy, effort, everything is like, I finally made it to the victory lap, but it's on the other side of the world.
Yo, how was that like when you told your people this? Like, yo, like I'm going to China, man. How did people take that?
Me, because they was like, yeah, we're gonna give you 5 days to make a decision, because you know it's a big transition, it's a big move, so they want to give you, you know what I'm saying, a good amount of time to think about it, and you know what I'm saying, check in with your folks and make sure it's something that you really want to do. Yeah, I was already sold on as soon as they said, yeah, we want to hire you. I was already ready, but I'm like, let me tap in with the tribe and see what others got to say. I got a green light from everybody I tapped in with. Everybody was like, yeah, do it.
Wow.
Go. I'm like, shit, y'all ain't said nothing but a word. They said nothing but a word.
So they pay for everything. So they set up your place and all that good stuff too?
Well, they paid for my flight to get over there. They put us up in a hotel for 2 weeks. They paid for that.
Right.
But within that 2 weeks, we doing our training for the job, of course.
Right.
And we had to find our own apartment. And we was going to have to pay for our own housing and food and stuff. But China's crazy cheap. So, you know what I'm saying? I was eating off of less than $5 a day, multiple times a day. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah. And the food busting, going crazy. Food going crazy. No cap. No cap.
So how does that work, man? Like, because I'm assuming that your Mandarin wasn't that great when you got there.
Nah. I ain't even. I started learning through like, you know what I'm saying, apps and stuff.
Yeah.
Before, like, once I got hired, I'm like, well, yeah, definitely start learning the language. This show. So I learned just enough to move and groove and maneuver.
Right.
As far as having a full in-depth conversation,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely not. No, it's quiet. But being able to, yeah, let me get this, or I want that, or where is this at? You know what I'm saying? Just basic dialogue. I knew just enough for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but mainly I'm around other people that speak English. So I really ain't have to use Mandarin unless I'm just out in the field with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Trying to buy something or at the bank, or, you know what I'm saying? Just really out in China. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time I have to use it. There's no other foreigners around. You know what I'm saying? So, but even then, technology is so crazy. You can pull up translation app on your phone and y'all can converse that way. So, far as so the communication piece was it was definitely challenging, but you know what I'm saying, it wasn't like it was just not happening at all. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So what was it like when you got there? I mean, because you coming from Georgia and then being in Florida and now in China. So culturally, like, how was that? Was it like a culture shock for you? Some of the things that was going on?
I wouldn't say it was shocking. Mm-hmm. Just because I was already prepared mentally. I'm already knowing I'm finna enter a whole different world. Right. So like anything that's gonna be off the wall, it ain't even gonna be surprising because I was already expecting to see something that I'm not used to seeing. Only thing about their culture that really didn't sit well with me was just the way they take care of their hygiene. I'm like, y'all are different.
Go into it, brother. What was it like?
They don't wash their hands.
No.
They don't brush their teeth. A lot of them don't brush their teeth. So if you're not washing your hands and you're not brushing your teeth, I know for a fact you're really not washing your ass like that. You feel me?
Wow. I never knew that.
Oh, man, you can go to the school I worked in.
Yeah.
The bathroom didn't have toilet paper or soap in it.
Nah. Wow.
Like, they gave us teachers our own personal soap and toilet paper to use. But as far as the students and the rest of the faculty and staff, it was quiet for them.
No way.
Yeah, so you can just imagine, you've seen all these kids going to the bathroom, coming back out. Ain't nobody wash their hands. You know what I'm saying? And then we going back, we going straight into the class. They sneezing and cough. It's crazy how when COVID first popped off, it started off over there. But it wasn't surprising to me. Like, once I heard it popped out, I'm like, well, shit, them folks different over there. They don't really take care of
Bogdo chances that they always had masks and things like that.
Yeah.
Prior to that. So like when you was there, did you see that a lot too? Like they was walking around with masks on and things like that?
Man, on the book cover, I got my mask on.
Yeah, you got your mask on there. And that was before.
Because the air pollution is real.
Wow.
That's why you wear your mask. You ain't wearing your mask because, you know what I'm saying, it's germs. No, you wear your mask because you look into the sky as numbers, smog, and you know what I'm saying? Wow. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, let me put this back on, you know what I'm saying? Like, anytime I stepped outdoors, I had my mask on just because the air pollution was, you know what I'm saying, the air quality wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason for me wearing the mask. Then come a full calendar year later, COVID popped out and they telling everybody to wear a mask. So
you was already
prepared, man.
Yeah, you was already into it.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It's universal.
When you got there, you got your teaching position and all, right? So, like, walk us through what was like the typical day for, like, you being a teacher, black teacher at that, from America with, Chinese children.
So definitely, I didn't work in the actual school system of Beijing. Like, I worked for a company that specialized in teaching English. So we were a training center essentially. So when the kids not in school, they with us.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So after school hours, we got classes on the weekends because they not in school. Oh yeah, that's our busiest days, the weekends. You know what I'm saying? Every shift is about 8 hours. During the week, I ain't go into like 1 p.m. and then my last class is over by like 8 p.m. So that's about 1 to 8. And then on the weekends, first class at 8 a.m. and I'm done by like 5 or 6 p.m. But every class was an hour roughly, unless you with the higher level learners. Their classes are 2 hours. But students come in, we warm up, review the previous lesson and the language, the words and vocab from the previous lesson, introduce the new language or the new terms that we're using for this lesson, practice a little bit, apply it, do book work just to get the reading and writing phase of it down,
Right.
Review everything, and then we send them kids back off to their parents. So that was the typical hour lesson, all just broken down like that in lump sum. Yeah, the kids made the whole, because I went out there to work. So that was going to dictate the whole experience for real, like just me being able to enjoy the job or me not being able to enjoy the job. And the kids made the experience worthwhile, without a doubt.
That's good. And I bet you they
like,
really took to you good. They took to you good.
Yeah. I'm working with kids as young as 3 years old all the way up to 14. You know what I'm saying? And I'm mainly working with that early elementary school age, like 5 to 8. You know what I'm saying? We talking about kindergarten to 3rd grade. Yeah. Roughly. Kindergarten to 4th grade. So I'm working with those. So it's like, I can match them kids' energy. You know what I'm saying? So we be lit in class. I'm in there playing James Brown and Bob Marley, Marvin Gaye, Luther Van. You know what I'm saying? Putting them on the culture for sure. You know what I'm saying? So it was a vibe. It was a vibe for sure. I enjoyed teaching. I miss the kids for sure.
I hear you. So I was going to ask you too, man, what was like the best part of being there, being in China?
I would just say, man, just the adventures. Honestly, teaching was lit. But the adventures, meeting other foreigners, because it's not too. I think China is billions of them over there, of Chinese people. Right. So the sprinkle of foreigners that you do come across, man, it's like the Spider-Man meme when he pointing at himself, like, let's speed another cup. Oh, what? Hey, what's going on, my boy? Hey, for sure. Hey, love. So it's just interesting to meeting all the different foreigners and just learning their backgrounds, because China is a place that you hear most people speak about traveling to, yet alone living in. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was always just interesting to meet the other foreigners, see and just learn about them and their background, where they come from, what brought them here, and you know what I'm saying? And here we are just coexisting in the same space at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Give you a better appreciation of people.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Because it's so rare to see. You know what I'm saying? Versus here in America, I walk down the street, you know what I'm saying? It's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, man, across the world, it's like, oh, man, what? It's a deep reference. True deep reference. You know what I'm saying? It makes you reevaluate and rethink a lot. You know what I'm saying? How you look at your own people and all of that. You know what I'm saying? The appreciation you have for them, for sure.
Just humanity in itself.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt.
So 14 days in, man, we got to talk about how that got set off, because, I mean, I've read up on it and read, a good portion of the book. I want you to explain that. You got popped on marijuana.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here in the U.S., where now we're seeing it decriminalized and you're seeing dispensaries everywhere, and it's like just commonplace here in America. Like they're taking this stuff seriously.
Yeah.
So it's like drugs over there is drugs over there. Like there's no lesser charge, no higher charge. Cocaine, weed, heroin is all in the same playing field.
Yes. Meth.
Same charges. They just executed some Canadians over in Beijing. Drug charges. Yeah, your 14 days was better.
Slap on the wrist.
On the wrist. Of course, China, I guess, and Canada got something going on right now. I don't want to get too deep into it, but they actually executed people for drug charges over there. So walk us through what happened that led to, the arrest and all that. Now, I know from reading and everything, it was no trial. No, get your lawyer, court-appointed attorney, none of that stuff that we got going on here. It was straight book and cook. So, so, book and cook on you there, Chance, man. So you got to tell us, walk us through what happened with that, man.
For sure. So it's April 4th, 2019. It's a Thursday, which is a day off for me. I plan on attending an event in the afternoon with friends and coworkers. So I go through my typical morning preparations, go to the gym, come back, cook, eat, pray to my ancestors. And now it's about time to start getting ready for the event. So I'm like, shit, I'm finna pregame before I slide. And those that don't know what pregaming is, that's like when you and your friends or cousins, whoever, you and a group of folks finna go out on a night full of festivities. Hey, let's meet up at somebody's house first and we're gonna turn up there. Then we're gonna go to the actual, you know what I'm saying, function. So I'm like, I'm finna pregame before I slide. So I'm in the house by myself, sipping some Chinese liquor, smoking some cannabis at my little silver pipe. And once, you know what I'm saying, crossfade settle in, I'm good. I'm ready to slide, start getting ready to go. And in the midst of me doing that, I hear a knock at the door.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, guess ain't unfamiliar. So I go look through the peephole, and it's 3 officers from the Beijing police. I'm just like, ooh, boy, what? like what they doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. So I scramble, put everything up, open the door. They walk straight in. The officer in front, he's speaking. Of course, I have no clue what he's saying. Once he realizes that I have no clue what he's saying, he pulls out his phone, speaks into it, and it speaks to the translator app. It shows me the translation on the phone. I read it. Are you on drugs? What this man talking about? What are you tripping? Nah, what are you tweaking? Nah, what are you talking about? No. He's speaking to the app again.
Right.
Show me the translation. Are there any drugs in the house? Boy, my family, what are we talking about here? Where are you getting this information from? Like, no, bro, you tripping. It's clearly some confusion going on. Passport? Yeah, you probably need some passport. Let me go grab my documentation because you got me confused. It's obviously some confusion going on. So let me go grab that to alleviate it. So go grab my passport, visa, apartment contract, the whole 9. It's like everything on the table. Like, here you go, family. Because this is what you need to look at. But you got me mistaken for somebody else. Just trying to finesse the situation. Trying to finesse. I'm from Atlanta. You live by the finesse, die by the finesse. So he's sitting there going through the documents. The other 2 officers, they just walking around the apartment casually, cool, just scoping the place out. You know what I'm saying? Not really looking into nothing, but you know what I'm saying? Just they got wandering eyes for sure. Yeah. They tell me to sit down at the table, at my dining room table. So I sit down and I'm just trying to think ahead, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to figure out what's gonna be next. You know what I'm saying? How I'm gonna finesse the situation, all of this, that, and the other. And in the midst of my panic, I hear footsteps coming from down the hall. Mind you, they never closed the front door when they came in. So front door's still wide open. So I hear steps coming down the main hall. So I look back like it's another officer approaching the apartment. He got something in his hand. I don't really pay him no mind because I'm just at war with my reflections right now. And the officer enters the apartment and hands the item he has in his hand to the officer that's looking over my documents. That officer communicates to me using body gestures to pee into the cup. So it's a drug test right there on the spot.
Wow. Yeah.
And right then and there, I was like, yeah, it's over with. I knew it was over with. As soon as he's like, you know what I'm saying, pee in the cup, I said, oh, yeah, it's over with. It's over with.
So, you ever thought about like how in the world did they know, like right after you smoked or whatever, that they just showed up like that?
Man, this wasn't the first time they showed up at my apartment randomly though.
Oh, okay.
They did it earlier. They did it in January. This April right now. They did it in January, and they came just to review our documents to see if we were who we said we were. Just to prove we weren't over there illegally, essentially. And they did it to coworkers of mine. All that. So I'm like, okay, they must do this more than once. This is a whole nother group of officers. You know what I'm saying? So that's the impression. I'm like, okay, that's on my passport, bro. You tripping, bro? Like, nah, this ain't the typical protocol. Like passport. Yeah. So now that, you know what I'm saying, they asked my drugs. I'm like, okay, that's why they just caught me slipping. So I'm just like, okay, it's the fog of war right now. How am I going to finesse the situation? What's the best way to get myself out of this situation? That's all I'm thinking about. So when they said do the drug test, I'm like, yeah, it's over with. So do the drug test. Failed the drug test, of course. And in the midst of all this happening, more officers didn't enter the apartment.
So how many are we at this point?
This point, it's like probably, it started off with 3. Now we're talking about like 6 or 7 at this point now.
Wow.
One of them speaks English fluently.
Yeah.
So he's sitting down at the table with me, just pretty much interrogating me about failing the drug test, who I get the weed from, when's the last, you know what I'm saying? He just want to see if I can give him any information as far as the supplier.
Right. I'm
high, nervous, panicking, all of that. So every question he posed to me, first thing that came to my mind, I'm just blurting out. the gig's up, man. You caught red-handed. We know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's over with. And I honestly, I knew it's been over with. But yeah, like I said, I'm from Atlanta. You live by the finesse. You die by the finesse. I'm finesse till I can't no more. So once, you know what I'm saying, once he made the odds, all right, shit, that. Then I don't see we sitting here wasting time for sure. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Y'all caught me red-handed. I gotta hold myself accountable at this point. So confiscate everything, throw me the handcuffs on me, escort me out the building, sit me down in the van. So now, you know what I'm saying, I'm just reflecting at this point, like just in disbelief, curious about what's gonna take place, how I know I'm gonna be good when it's all said and done though. Yeah. I just don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah,
because being there, you don't know what fork in the road this gonna take. You know what I mean? It's like you just dead. You don't have no idea about how the justice system works, what they're allowed to do as police officers. We kind of governed by some things, even though we know in recent times that goes left constantly. So okay, you get it. So now you got 6 cops. You in a van. What was the thought running through your head at that moment?
Just like accountability, first and foremost. Accountability. I got to hold myself accountable because I consciously knew what I was doing and knew you know what I'm saying, I shouldn't have been doing it, but I still continue to engage in it. So first and foremost, I just got to hold myself accountable.
Right.
And I know I'm going to be good when it's all said and done. Don't play out? I have no clue. Nobody knows this is happening to me right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're there with nobody, family, co-workers.
I jumped off the porch.
Yeah. Last thing we know, Chance was in the crib, and that was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now I'm in the van with 2 other officers, just 2 other officers. None of them speak English, so communication is non-existent anymore. And I'm just, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Just maintain positive. Like everything gonna be straight. Everything gonna be straight. Just stay on high alert.
Yeah.
Stay on high alert. You know what I'm saying? Take note of every minor detail because this is going to be a great story to tell one day. I said this to myself. Like, this is gonna be a crazy story to tell folks one day. Like, you know what I'm saying? I already know it. So we ride about 5 minutes. We get to a precinct not too far from the apartment. They walk me in, sit me down in the chairs. I'm the only foreigner in this precinct right now, handcuffed. And I'm still high as heaven and just reflecting, you know what I'm saying, replaying everything that has taken place up to this point. And, you know what I'm saying, just trying to make sense out of it. And time progresses. They come get me and we get back in the van. So I'm like, okay, where are we going? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. But I know I ain't finna ask these folks, you know what I'm saying? So
you go to the precinct for like a brief period.
And they just set me down.
And they just sat you down.
And I'm just sitting there.
Okay.
I'm just sitting there. Don't know what's going on.
Ain't no legal
nobody explained nothing to me.
Nothing.
They ain't explained nothing to me. I'm just sitting. They jump. I say how high. I ain't finna sit and ask no questions. That's the last. I ain't finna do none of that. Compliant. You know what I'm saying? I'm compliant. So
yeah,
get me back up. We get back in the van. So I'm like, okay. All right. I don't know where we're going, but I'm finna find out. Riding. We get to another precinct. This one's a lot bigger. Process me, had me change clothes, throw me in a holding cell with like 8 other Chinese men. I'm still handcuffed, and I'm just at war with my reflections. Just constantly, I'm just in my head because I can't talk to nobody. So I'm talking to myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just in my head, just replaying everything, trying to make sense out of it. And still just like trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get out of this situation? How, you know what I'm saying? How's this thing going to play out? And they come get me, take me down to the basement of the precinct and enter this room to do my interrogation. And they walk me to this metal chair that looks like an electric chair. So they, you know what I'm saying? They unlock the chair, open it up and like, just like, look at me. I'm looking at them like, y'all want me to sit my ass down for real? They was like, yeah. So I sat my ass down. They like my ankles, legs, waist, chest, and arms all into one place like this here. Only thing I could move was my head. So I did my whole interrogation just like this, locked into this metal chair.
And you in a basement.
Mm-hmm.
In the basement of this particular precinct.
Mm-hmm.
And this metal chair strapped down. Now, you know, this is not the U.S. at all. Like, they're not doing this stuff. In your mind, are you thinking, man, I'd just rather take this beating? Or just like, don't inject me with nothing. Because you don't know how the law is working there. You don't know what's really good with it. So what was that thought there when they put you in that metal chair?
Like, so once they locked me in the chair, I'm like, okay, I'm still cool. I'm still high. So it's just like, I'm still just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going with the flow. I'm going with the flow. The last thing, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to be getting belligerent and acting crazy because I'm like, that shit is going to make shit worse. Right, so let me just be as calm, cool, and collected as fine as can be for sure. Mm-hmm. That's what you know what I'm saying? Let me just stick to that agenda. So I'm just sitting there, and in comes two officers. One of them speaks English fluently, and he introduces himself. He's like, yeah, I'm Officer Wang. I'm going to be conducting your interrogation. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? For sure. And by this time, I came up with a story to finesse them with. So I'm like, oh, yeah, let's come on. I'm ready for you now. I got me time to prepare. I'm good now. Let's do it. So we do the interrogation. After it's all said and done, they bring me the transcription to look over it to make sure there aren't any errors or anything like that. Most of it's in Chinese characters, so I can't read this shit. So would you sign it, thumbprint it. You know what I'm saying? They unlock me out the chair, and we go back upstairs, and they put me back in the holding cell. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, they must have been, okay, they bought the statement, everything was copacetic. All right, back. A little bit of time passed, they come back and get me, and they take me to this room. Look like a photography studio, so I only would deduce that this is the official intake room, you know what I'm saying? So they do my mug shot, take my whole handprint and shit, and then they throw me back into the holding cell. And that's where I'm at for the rest of the time of that day. And you know what I'm saying, just reflecting everything, the interrogation, all of that whole day. And you know what I'm saying, I'm coming down from the high now, so now I'm getting sleepy. You know what I'm saying, fading in and out of consciousness. You know what I'm saying, every time I look up, the sun is fading more and more and more. I'm looking at the window in the cell, so I can tell it's getting darker and darker. So I know, you know what I'm saying, time is progressing. I don't know what time it is, but they come and get me. I know it's clearly nighttime though. They come and get me, walk me to the lobby, and they bring my basket of clothes and tell me to get dressed. I'm like, oh shit, everything. Oh shit, hey, the finesse don't work. Hey, live by the finesse now. Hey, I get don't throw my clothes on. I'm just sitting there waiting. All right, what's next? I'm ready to go. Like I'm ready to go home. Like yeah, for sure. Let's speed this process up. Right. So they was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? They had me follow them behind this door that was behind the front desk. So I entered through the door, and now I'm in the hallway. And at the end of the hallway, it's a small room crowded with officers. So I'm following the CO to the room, we walking. And as I enter the room, I realize this is an evidence room. There's shelves with evidence bags from different cases on it. And you know what I'm saying? Just shit everywhere. TV monitor, 4 TV screens on the table where they watch the footage from the body cameras. Right. And to the left is everything that was confiscated from my apartment. So they take the flour that I got caught with, and they weigh it up in front of me. It totaled out to 1.4 grams. So those that don't know anything about cannabis, 1.4 grams is not a lot. You don't got to know anything about cannabis. Units of measurement, 1.4 grams is not a lot of anything. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had much on me, but it was just interesting that they weighed it up in front of me, so I knew how much I had.
You know what you're going to jail for is what they pretty much telling you.
Yeah. Had me another document I can't read, signed, thumbprinted. All right, load everything up, and we get in the van again. Now I look at the clock in the van; it's like 1:30 in the morning. So I'm like, damn, I'd have been here for 14 hours. You know what I'm saying? I've been in folks' custody for 14 hours. They got to be taking me home by now. So we riding. I've been in Beijing for a good amount of time up until this point. So I'm just reading, just taking heed to just all the signs, because we on the interstate. So I'm taking heed to all the signs we passing. I'm like, bro, I don't feel like we heading anywhere close to Qingnanlu, my town.
Right.
And sure enough, We arrive at this facility with tall walls and barbed wire.
Now,
And I
at
was just
this
like,
point,
oh shit.
you coming down off the joint. You see this facility, barbed wires and all this stuff. Are you thinking, this is it? Nobody knows where I'm at. I'm again in China. No phone call, no due process, no attorney,
Nathan.
no translation of what I just signed for. All you know, you could have signed away body parts, man. You don't know what you signed away.
Nope.
And you just, so when does it hit you like, yo, this is it?
It still ain't even hit me because I'm just like, as soon as I seen what we was at, I'm like, this is jail. Like, all right, bet. You know what I'm saying? So going to the jail, we go straight to the nurse office to do, you know what I'm saying, typical physical, I guess, blood pressure and all that shit. And after we do that, have me change clothes, give me my uniform, take all, you know what I'm saying, have me put all my stuff that I had on and had on me, put it into my bag and put that bag into the storage room where they keep all the other inmates' stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know what I'm saying, they gave me a plastic bowl and a plastic spoon. So we walk up, you walk to the elevator, get on the elevator, take it up to the second floor of the jail, get off the elevator, turn left, and we walking down the hall where the cells is on. We get to cell 209. And he opens the door, and instantly my psyche is just thrown for a loop at what I see. Immediately, I see, because mine is like 4 o'clock in the morning at this point. Yeah. I see two inmates awake, standing up against the wall, staring at the rest of the inmates that are asleep. They're the only ones up. I'm up, so I'm looking at them. They looking at me. They just in shock to see a person of color.
Yeah, I'm quite sure.
I'm looking at them like, what the hell are y'all doing? Why are y'all up staring at these folks? What y'all got going on in here? I look at the folks that sleep. I describe it in the book. It should look like a slumber party. Like when you was a kid back in the day with you and your friends or cousins and stuff, you had big sleepovers, not a lot of space to sleep, so we all got to make room. Yeah. That's what it looked like. So I'm like, what the hell is going on in here? Do a head count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Damn, including me, it's 15 of us in this cell. I look at the beds, which are just wooden bunks, essentially wooden planks with covers up underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 9 beds.
That's why they sleeping in shifts.
That's why I'm like, well, okay, it's 15 of us in the cell, 9 wooden beds, 2 people standing up, so it only leaves 13 people that sleep. So I'm like, but even then, it's still 9 beds, so that's why it looked like a slumber party. All these folks, these random grown men, just, you know what I'm saying, just trying to make do. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's I haven't received not one bit of information at all. So I don't know what's going on. I'm just like, this is just crazy to see right now. I'm just like, this shit is real. Like, okay, this shit real. I look to my left. That's the bathroom. It's in the cells. It's its own separate room, but the walls are made of glass, so everybody can see straight inside.
And it's only one toilet in there.
Sink, one toilet. The toilet is a squat toilet though, so a hole in the ground that you got to squat over.
Yeah.
The shower is pretty much a water hose with a shower head tied to it. Black mold and shit on the walls, gnats and shit. So I'm like, woo, okay, it's real. So I approach the slumber party, trying to find a spot to lay down. And one of the inmates that's standing up taking a watch, he wakes up 2 inmates to make room for me, and they do. And you know what I'm saying? They had me set my bowling spoon in one of the cubbies. So I just lie down on my back, my hands on my chest like this here. And I'm just looking up, standing up at the bright ass light on the ceiling, and that's when it hit me. That's when it hit me. I was like, yeah. Is she real? Like, okay, it's real, bro.
Yeah, here we are. Man.
It's real. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Nobody knows you're here. These folks haven't told you any information. It's, you know what I'm saying? With that being said, it's like, okay, I constantly knew what I did to end up here. I'm here. It's nothing we can do to, you know what I'm saying, take that away or, you know what I'm saying, go back. No, it is what it is at this point. Moving forward. We can see and talk about and dwell on the problem all day long. What's the solution? Right. You know what I'm saying? That's how my mind worked naturally. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'm here. Nobody know. All right, first thing first, folks got to know that I'm here. And folks just got to know that I'm missing, one. And then once they realize that, the search for me will begin then. All right, so I got the day off tomorrow, which will be a Friday, and I have work Saturday. So I was supposed to meet friends and coworkers today at that event that I didn't show up to. They knew I was supposed to be there. So the fact that I didn't show up, I know that was kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they called me and I didn't answer.
Right.
So when I don't show up for work Saturday, red flag. That's what, you know what I'm saying? Because one of the coworkers, one of my coaches that I actually, that's another teacher in the same center as me, I was supposed to meet at that event. So I'm like, when she realized that I ain't at work Saturday, she don't know, okay, something wrong.
Yeah.
Something wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's going to be the red flag to start the search for me. Because it's going to be chaotic. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't show up for class. So what? These kids in class that they don't pay for, and ain't no teacher in there. So they going to be scrambling trying to get somebody to just handle the class for the time being. But it's like, where is this boy at? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, boom. I got to wait till Saturday for that. In addition to that, I had a girlfriend at the time. So I'm like, when I don't respond to 2 of her messages, that's going to be another red flag that, okay, where is it? So I'm like, I know I'm going to have to sit for at least a day.
Right.
At least a day before the search for me begins. And then once the search for me begins, that will speed this process up.
Yeah.
That's how I'm thinking about all of this. That's sitting there laying on my back, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, what I just walked y'all through, this is all the first chapter, essentially.
Yeah.
This is all chapter 1. Yeah, we still early in the book.
And there's some things in there, like I don't want to give away too much because I know it's your book. I don't want to.
Yeah. On me.
It's like spoiling the movie.
But yeah, essentially, well, long story short, to sum up the rest of the 14-day experience, I was locked up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 people in one cell, 9 wooden beds. And all I had was 1 bowl and 1 spoon for 14 days straight.
14 days straight. And you're still doing better than most people in Rikers Island right now.
Nah, oh man, what?
Rikers Island is crazy. It's crazy. Crazy, bro. So, but you know, because like if you watch like things like Locked Up Abroad, you know, I was discussing this with my brother. We had seen like this episode, and I don't know what part of China that was in, but brother, when I tell you, them people was out there mowing the grass. It was in prison, not jail. It was the Chinese prison, and they had them out there on their hands and knees mowing the grass, man, just picking it up with their hands. They had to fold their sheets like a perfect box. And for some strange reason, these people was looking at it like, this is okay. Like they was interviewing the inmates. Brother, they was smiling. They was saying like, this is all right. You know, this is okay. We don't have no problems here. And but I'm pretty sure there's no issues in terms of like how we see in the U.S. with the prison system where you got to deal with all this violence and foolishness and things. You know, but like where you was at, you had like, again, I don't want to give too much away of your story, but where you was at, you didn't see too much of that. Like they kind of had that.
We could speak on it. Like it was very harmonious. Like it wasn't never any animosity, at least with me and anybody else. That's just my spirit. I'm non-confrontational. I'm peaceful, easygoing, laid back. So if you got a problem with me, you really just got a problem with yourself because I'm not gonna match that energy. You just gonna be over there upset with yourself. That's between you and God. But so it was no drama, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Amongst me and the other cellmates. If anything, they was just pretty excited to see a person of color in the cell with them and want to know any and everything that they can learn while the time being. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But with the language barrier, that was still non-existent. You know what I'm saying? So,
but it's the fact that they just embraced you enough to say, like, you know, you ain't got no problems here. So,
but that's just China in general. China's so strict; they don't have insane individuals.
Well, obviously, we see the PD. They ain't playing over there. Like they just showing.
Oh no. Even then, they so strict. They police don't even have guns.
Oh wow.
Baton. That's it.
That's it.
For the most part. Only officers you see with guns is the ones that's driving the Brinks trucks, escorting money. They're the only folks that strapped up. Everybody, what? So that's how I'm like, okay, it's chill over here. And it's China, it's so strict. It's one of the safest places you can ever live.
I'm quite sure, man. Yeah. Just based on what you said there, I'm quite sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to worry about nothing for real. Like, so.
I'm sorry I didn't experience it the way that you did, but, you know, but it was a learning lesson.
Oh,
you know, it's a learning lesson, man. So, like, when you came home and everything, obviously that's not a spoiler alert because we're talking to him right now. So he came home. We're not talking while he's still in jail. you came home, and what made you decide to write the book? I know, like the experience, what was in you that said this was time for this story to be told? Because it is an amazing story.
Because when I got hired to go out to China, I knew for the first job to tell me yes to be on the other side of the world, I know it's something out there that's truly for me and to help me figure out what my purpose is. And it's going to be a great stepping stone, you know what I'm saying, as far as just a career or just, you know what I'm saying, finding a career, just really just finding myself, all in all, re-identifying myself, everything. I knew it was going to be beneficial to me in my journey.
Right.
And me, when I start something, I like to finish it. So I'm like, I'm supposed to do a year. I'm going to do a year, at least. I'm going to do my year. And what comes from that, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'll cross that bridge when I get to it.
Right.
So when everything popped off, I got arrested and, you know what I'm saying, deported and all of that. So I'm like, well, damn, I didn't get to do the year that I wanted to do. I went through a situation and I experienced something that most people won't never experience in their life. And I knew that I experienced it for a reason. Now, I'm going to do something with this story. I ain't go through all that shit just to, you know what I'm saying, suppress it and act like it never, for real. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all done locked me up and cut my goals short. So, and in addition, you know what I'm saying, I had a goal set. I didn't get to accomplish it. So I was like, well, shit. I looked at it and said, okay, this is going to be some get back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all think I'm just going to just tuck my tail between my legs and keep, y'all got the wrong one, boy.
Keep pushing.
So I'm going to do something with the story. I just didn't know what. I don't know how I'm going to tell the story or share the story with people, but I know I will, though. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until a couple months had passed and I was with a tribal member. We was just powwowing. He was a published author before we graduated high school in 2014. Right. So he was like, yeah, but you should write a book about your experience. I'm like, that's not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? That's not a bad idea at all. Like I could. Would I go about writing it? I have no clue. But you know what I'm saying? I definitely could. So he threw me a little alley-oop, gave me a little outline to follow. And I just started filling it in. And you know what I'm saying? Moved it from my phone to a Google Doc. And shit, next thing I knew, 4 months later, I wrote, you know what I'm saying? I finished writing the story. Wow. Okay. And then was the editing process and, you know what I'm saying, fine tuning it and coming up the cover, getting the cover done, all of that. So that was another, I want to say about probably another 8 months. Well, no. It was definitely like another 6 months. So I got locked up on April 4th, 2019, April 4th, 2020. I dropped part 1, which is the free version available on Amazon on 14 Days in Beijing. Right. And while I was still on pre-sale, I was ranked number 1 in 3 different genres.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that.
On me.
Yeah. So congrats on that, by the way.
Yeah, man, it just brought everything full circle. And it was just crazy, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh yeah, I definitely got to drop it on the day everything popped off. And in addition to that, that's when COVID really, really popped off here in America. You know what I'm saying? At least when everything went on lockdown. You know what I'm saying? So it was just perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a captive audience at that point. So
man, it's taking place in Beijing, China. That's where COVID popped off. So folks is, you know what I'm saying? China's already trending in regards to that. You know what I'm saying? I got the mask on the picture. Everybody's having to wear a mask. You catch COVID, what you got to do? You got to quarantine for 14 days. Mm-hmm. So it was a perfect time. It was perfect. It was perfect. Everything came full circle. It was beautiful.
If you haven't already, did you ever think about translating the book into, what is it? The alphabet is Mandarin. Is it still Mandarin with the alphabet?
Yeah. I got posed that idea. Yeah. I didn't act on it, but I definitely was posed the idea for sure. I probably might do it just because I more than likely will do it.
Yeah, sure, take the might out of there. Take the might out of there. You can do that.
Yeah. I ain't see it just like a true reasoning to do it right then and there when the idea was proposed. Because like, one, the Amazon store in China, you know what I'm saying? Chinese people only be able to get the ebook version. A lot of people don't like ebooks, so. And it ain't, you know what I'm saying, like you can buy a physical copy and, you know what I'm saying, because it's going to get made over here and, you know, that's non-existent. So I really didn't see a true reasoning to do it, you know what I'm saying, just because I'm like, the market ain't even going to be able to have full access to it. You know what I'm saying? of course, folks here can buy it, but it's like, how many people here speak Mandarin? Not a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's
no,
like, you
you
don't
won't
have
go
a
here.
book, some shit you can't, you're going to be like me signing these documents and shit. You know what I'm saying? Thumbprint these, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's really the reason why I didn't just hit the green, you know what I'm saying? Hit the gas and doing it, you know what I'm saying? But I'll do it for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, you flush it and see if it go down. You never know what comes
facts.
out. Yeah, you never
Facts.
know what comes
I ain't
out.
got nothing to lose.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
might end up being a celebrity over in China. You know,
On me, no, for real.
yeah, for real.
No, for real.
That's where the market is at. So it's good that you came out of this experience still with a positive attitude. Let me ask, how does this affect your record here in the U.S.?
Folks, if I didn't write this book, nobody would know this happened to me. It doesn't follow me anywhere. Okay. Well, it's gonna follow me now just cause, you know what I'm saying, I done put it on the map, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But even then, as far as my record, you know what I'm saying, you have to really Google me to see all this pop up, you know what I'm saying? Maybe
Here, they might look at a story like that and just say, well, man, China's probably doing too much. You'll be all right.
Yeah. They get more enthused about just, you know what I'm saying, hearing about the experience more than just like, you know what I'm saying, frowning upon me, or, you know what I'm saying, looking down on me or anything like that. They just be like, what? Like, they just be intrigued, like, damn. It's so taboo. It's so taboo.
It is. So what's the next step, Chance? What we going to do? Is it more books or?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I thought I was going to be done writing books after I wrote 14 Days. I ain't see myself writing anymore, but clearly I have, I found I really have a true talent in telling stories, you know what I'm saying, especially writing them. So I definitely plan on writing more books and just about my life experiences. I got a romance novel. I got 2 romance novels coming out soon. That piggyback off of 14 Days as well.
Okay.
I'm really, and they based off real, you know what I'm saying, true stories, real life experiences, you know what I'm saying. They're the best stories I could tell, you know what I'm saying, because my life is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, you know what I'm saying, I know just the more that I get to experience and, you know what I'm saying, go through the different things, I'm gonna definitely put it on paper just because, you know what I'm saying, for sure.
Yeah. So you just grow and write, man.
Writing, and definitely I want to turn these books into films.
I was going to ask you that. Did anybody come at you yet about it?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
They got to get out there more. That's what it is.
That's it. Yeah. There's still a lot of people that don't know nothing about 14 Days. You know, so that's what I'm doing all these interviews. You know what I'm saying? I didn't created the market for sure, but it's like, man, that market's still minute in the grand scheme of everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm just scratching the surface for real, but I still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Just keep hitting the circuit, man. Keep hitting the circuit. It's going to hit the right ears. And plus, you know,
for sure.
You're not in Atlanta, but you in Georgia, which is like darn near like, you know, little Hollywood at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, somebody will probably look at that and just say that's a good option, especially for like a series or something, you know, because might be expensive to make. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you, man, because it's
for sure.
Yeah, but it's somebody will look at it if it's worth its weight, or base it on something. Maybe, you know, take it.
Yeah.
Take the story, take some liberties with it. You know, if you allow that, because that's your life, man.
Yeah.
So most people don't want to do that. You know, I saw on Amazon you had spit a poem. Yeah, the Free Me joint.
Yeah.
When did you do that at? Because it looks like you just totally hijacked the stage somewhere. I'm gonna keep it real with you. You just like give me, like somebody just handed you the mic. You just like, hey, I'm Chancellor Jackson. Just got on stage. So what was that about, man?
So the original like version of 14, like part 1, is covered right here. That's on this wall.
Yeah.
For the book description, I didn't do the typical book description format. I did a poem instead. So that poem that I recited was the book description for the original versions of 14 Days, and it's called Free Me. So I was invited to this event, the showcasing event. They had a bunch of fashion designers and stylists come with their, you know what I'm saying, just all the, you know what I'm saying, all the clothes that they make, and anybody that modeled, you know what I'm saying, they had us model their clothes essentially. Right. In addition to that, they had vending set up, they had open mic night, you know what I'm saying? There was a bunch of things all compacted into one night, in addition to the fashion show, which is what I was there to do anyway. So once I found out they was doing open mic, I'm gonna recite the poem. I'm I'm recite the poem at the open mic. So I'm like, that'll be a great idea and great content. So I was like the second person to go. I was the second person to go. And everybody that performed on the open mic was always, everybody did music. Rather you rapping or singing, everybody did music. I was the only one to do a poem. So I definitely stood out for sure.
Yeah, because when I saw it, I said, the brother just went up there and just bogarted the stage real quick. I thought you was like, yo, I'm here.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
Yeah, and I sold some copies after that, was, you know what I'm saying, after doing that and everything. So it was a great night for sure. It was a lit night.
So all of the experiences that you took from this, you know, you're a young man, right? If you can go back and tell the younger you all of the stuff that's going on, like what would you tell the younger you for some encouragement about the things that's about to happen?
Man, just if you don't know yourself, learn yourself. Truly. I didn't know myself. I knew myself to a degree, but I didn't truly know myself before going to China. It took me going to China, experiencing all of that, coming back home, facing that adversity, really facing that. They say adversity introduces a man to himself. Facing all that adversity and, you know what I'm saying, having the charisma and just the mindset to overcome it all in all, you know what I'm saying, and seeing what them blossom just from me just staying resilient. It's just like, you know what I'm saying, it's just been crazy. I've found a whole identity. When football ended, I'm like, okay, who are you? I couldn't answer that question. I could tell you, I could sit here and talk about myself all day, every day now. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you know what I'm saying, it took all of that took place. So it's just like, man, just learn yourself to a T, for real. And what you learn yourself, you'll learn what you're interested in, what you're not, what you want to do, what you don't, what's your purpose, what isn't. You'll learn that. You'll be able to identify it a lot better because you know you. Right. Versus not knowing yourself, and now you just got them getting into any and everything, trying to just find something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, just learn yourself, man. Life is a marathon. Whatever it is that you want to do, this shit ain't gonna happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? Trust the process. Keep running your marathon. Stay 10 toes down. You're gonna face adversity. And like I said, adversity introduces a man to himself or a woman to herself. You're gonna face adversity. Never let no hard time humble you. Yeah. Take what you need to take from the situation, apply it to your life moving forward for the betterment. And, you know what I'm saying, keep running. Just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Don't quit. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, don't quit. That's the only distinguishing quality between whoever else is going through this or is finna go through this, already went through this, is that you're not going to quit. You know what I mean? You're going to take a stand. I'm willing to die behind what I'm getting after right now. So, and that's in quote to Nipsey Hussle, the great. Man.
So, Chancellor Jackson, the book is called 14 Days in Beijing.
Yes, sir.
And as we can see, this, shaped you a lot. And your 14 days in that jail is better than some people one day here in the United States of America.
Facts.
So
facts.
I'm glad that you took that and you learned from it. So, Chance, we're about to sign off. I want you to let people know where they can reach you at, where they can get the book from. Any information you want to put out there to the people, you can do that.
For sure, yeah. 14 Days in Beijing, available on Amazon. I also have a free version available on Amazon and Apple Books and Kobo and other book platforms. As far as where to find me on social media, just search Chancellor K.Jackson. Really just Google me. That's the best bet. Just Google Chancellor K.Jackson or 14 Days in Beijing. I'll pop right up.
Yeah, like if you put his name in, he just comes up, man. I think they even got your football stats up there too. So you might want to look at that too. And the Only One Mic podcast is available on all major platforms that you stream your podcasts on. Please don't forget to rate the show and subscribe. If you want to get in contact with the Only One Mic podcast, you can reach us on Instagram and Twitter at The Only One Mic P1, Facebook and LinkedIn at The Only One Mic podcast, and you can contact me directly via email, theonlyonemic00@gmail.com. So, Chance, thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate you, brother. I really do. You keep up. Much success to you. Much blessings to you as well.
Likewise, family. I appreciate you for having me on.
Anytime, man. You got a home here, brother. All right. Yeah. And as always, I tell everyone to speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, because they too have their story to tell. Once again, Thank you, brother.
Hey, it was
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
All right, Only One Mic podcast signing off. Peace.